Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the APL. We're in season 2. This is week 2 for North American Premier League play on the Blue server. My name is Toppies. I'm joined by my co-caster, my partner in crime for the night, a little fuzzy seal, and of course, the eye in the sky, Skyline, bringing us this action for this best of 4 play tonight. So it should be a lot of fun for those of you who may be tuning in for the first time. It's first-person squad action, and there's going to be an awful lot of it here on Erangel. Fuzzy, talk to me about the game.
Well, we got pretty much all the best guys from NA joining us here today. Lobby Blue being one of the more prestigious places to be here, and also Erangel, as we all know. But to talk about the custom settings for a little bit, just so everyone's clear on what they're watching, we got 1.5 XAR as per usual, as well as custom circle settings. This is the settings that everyone has liked a crap ton, in which the early game is a little bit shorter, but the late game circle speed is a little bit reduced, so that way you can actually run and gun and actually deal with bad terrain a little bit better than you could with a normal circle.
Yeah, it's nice. It speeds up what I don't want to call the boring part of the game, but the part of the game that's really more of a established match in the
looting
terms of
phase.
Yeah, at the pro level. It's not like we see in our pub games where everyone jumps everywhere. These teams all have places they prefer. Looking at the map right now, you can already see we got our group going Sosnovka, we've got one group going to Prim, and we're going to see that sort of spread across the map without too much early game conflict. So cutting down on the amount of time for looting is totally okay because you're not getting caught in these early game fights like you would be in a pub match.
Absolutely. And actually, we're seeing right now quite a few places actually uncontested. In fact, only one team at all going over there to Sosnovka. They're going to be very, very happy with their loot. And possibly, if the zone is nice enough to them and mean enough to the entire rest of the server, they may not even have to move that far.
Absolutely. So we got Totality coming down in that sort of, what do you want to call it? The Gatka Fields spread. They'll hit that area. It looks like there might be somebody coming down near them, as I believe that's Venerated and Caden flying over. So they're going to have to go a little bit. We see Envious going towards Gatka proper, it looks like. So that's a little bit of a tough situation to find yourself in. To have a full team in Gatka and a second team doing the Gatka Field spread is not great because Gatka, you definitely need those other 3 compounds to sort of supplement a 4-man.
Oh!
Wow. Right out of the gate, Taro taking a ton of damage. I didn't get to see the kill feed. I don't know who he was able to take out there, but a really nice survival play. Because, Envious is right across the way. Check Shooter literally just at those 2 houses. So a severe disadvantage theoretically in loot, but he ended up picking up, I believe that's a Scar with a 4X. So if you're going to get lucky, this is the time to do it.
I'm pretty sure that was a neck shot, Toffees. With that little HP, a headshot would have downed him, and a body shot does not deal that much damage. I think that Taro just got one tapped, almost downed for that count. And in this sort of situation, like you said, your teammates are quite far away from you. No one would have been able to save Taro if he went down there. That being said, though, Check Shooter is still there. But all these squads, look at the map right here, very awkward spot. And in fact, Jesse Lol, the most awkward of them all, literally has no gun armor, no hair as well.
Oh, where'd he go? No. His own brother. Brother, why?
Why did that? Oh, at least he didn't get careened and died from falling. Wow. That can happen sometimes to get the finish. But oh my goodness, I wonder, Toffees, I wonder what the team comms are right now.
The problem that happened because of the luck that they had finding the Scar with the 4X. Somebody had to have bad luck in return. Like PUBG lives on this karma balance. And that definitely cost him big. I can't believe I ran by a bike, no less. Like, I try to run people over on the bikes all the time and just can't do it. These guys are so good, they accidentally run over their own team.
Yeah, it's impressive either way. Anyway, we do see Taro and Check Shooter getting quite close to each other. It looks like Taro's managed to find a couple of healing items. Not sure if they're bandage stims or what, but it looks like Check Shooter getting a little bit closer. Might be looking to take this fight. And Taro, the way he's been looting, might not have been keeping track of Check Shooter. Meanwhile, Check Shooter over here definitely looking to finish off the kill that he injured earlier, but is still, getting himself looted. Still wants to make sure that he's kitted.
Right.
This is almost a solo game playing out in front of us, to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird 1v1 sort of deal. That said, you got Check's got a little bit of backup there rolling in on him. They do have to worry about Drassel, Vape, and the boys who are north of them. So this is kind of an interesting area. When I think of early game conflict, you think of Pachinki or things of that nature. But all of those spots are just comfortably held by one team. Gatka Field's very heavily contested, interestingly enough. I wonder if this has to do with a lot of these teams have shifted rosters lately, have new players coming and going, and maybe some players bringing new ideas on drop zones. The problem is I've never seen this many teams in such a weird spot to contest early.
A lot of games have been like that, though, where people are just kind of dropping in places that can only be considered weird. But hey, they're the pros. They probably know what's best for themselves, unless they obviously get shot in the head earlier on. But something else to note about what happens with this Gatka spread, as well as most other teams in this drop, the zone, as we can see on the map right now, is in Severny. We can see from the rainbow of color that is outside the white that pretty much every single squad except for one or two have a long way to go to get in here, especially this Gatka spread. So they might have trouble, and there might be some fights breaking out as players catch each other out in these fields as they try to make their way into the white. And getting into the white is the beginning of the journey. There's a lot of compounds you'll want in Severny that if they can't claim them, they'll be in a huge amount of trouble, because Severny is not a place you want to be in the open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the north pushes are some of the hardest pushes because it's not as popular of a loot side of the map. There's not as many big cities. All your big primary loot towns are either on the river or south of the river for the most part. So that means that most of your teams, I thought that was a desync crash. It looks like it was just Tony V crashing into a rock. You don't get to see that as often in the pro games. New Dacia is a lot harder to control when you're off-roading. Yeah. That said, you have to know when a circle ends up north, it means everyone is moving. You can guarantee that 70% of the people on the map are transitioning, whereas a south circle, it's probably more between 30 and 40%. So this changes the way the game plays for these players.
Looking like we got Vape leading the way for his Team 14 onto Totality. Nop's a little compound here. Nop probably is not aware of this as well. In fact, Team 14 having a 3-man spread all over. Nop completely unaware. He's got a Vector on his back. This could be a decent fight if he's aware of their presence. But at this point, they're so close. They must hear each other, right?
Yes, so Team Gates pushing right up on Nop. He's the only player from Totality here. They're setting a trap for him outside. They definitely hear him. Nop doesn't. He seems to be looking at Drassel. So the thing is, he may have heard Drass and assumed someone's going around the building. The problem is, he's getting pushed from 3 sides. He's got 19 seconds left on the clock till the circle starts to close. That means there's not a ton of pressure on the guys to really push in here and make this close out.
But yeah, if you're Team 14, do you take this push? Do you go away? It's only one guy, but this one guy with a Vector and one of the hardest to push buildings in the game could ruin one or two of your guys' lives. It could kill them. And right now, actually, right here, let's say Dakoka getting shot from the southeast by a completely new squad. Check shooter, try to claim some more heads for himself, but will be getting taken down in response. Gentrix able to claim that one for himself.
Yeah, so he early luck with the Scar, but it did not pan out in the long run. Now it's the push by Vape here as he starts to peek through the doors. They're trying to find their man. Nop's hidden in one of the safer rooms. That said, they're going to be very methodical about how they clear this. Nop just holding a corner, aiming right out that doorway. So he's not shootable from any of the windows right now. There you go. Nice. But you are shootable if you lean through the doorway, and Vape just blows smoke. I don't know, it wasn't blow smoke. He threw lead all over Nop. That's the end of him.
The funny thing about that is they probably thought their Totality and Nop was actually on the same side, but when they see these names pop up, they're just like, what? What is going on here? Meanwhile, though, looking at the center of the circle, a lot of these compounds already taken. In fact, every single one that is in the center that isn't Severny has been claimed by someone. Frolicker now taking the last vestige of refuge here, this little warehouse on the top of the hill. He's claiming this for the rest of his squad, clearing it as well. Doing a pretty good job. I wonder where his squad is, though, because the area around him is not clear.
Classic Cloud9, though. They're going to send in the scout. He finds the building. The rest of the team makes the transition, all in separate cars. This is a good building to push in this aggressive way because you can drive right in if you need to, find cover. The problem is it also opens you up to the same sort of attack. This is one of those buildings that you can slide a car into without taking initial fire relatively easily because it's hard to sort of pop out of the warehouse and stop someone on one of the horizontal pushes. So that said, this grab, not surprised as Cloud9. It definitely fits their style of play right in the middle of the circle. Scout lead, everyone else follows. And that's just what they've been doing since the beginning of time.
Yep. That compound easy to claim, hard to hold, and Cloud9 doing what they do. But meanwhile, Envy still split. We saw his teammate die over in Gatka Fields. This guy's over in the industrial crates in Georgia Pool, taking some more shots at passing cars. Looks like someone else died over here, judging by that little mini-map on the bottom right. Not sure what happened there, but looks like they'll just be chilling alone. Oh, we have our little drone cam that has indeed spotted the corpse as it despawns. Sadly, I don't think you can actually check the loot inside those little boxes there, so we'll never know
No,
what
they should.
happens there.
I do wish there were name tags on the boxes after you go down.
Yeah, that'd
Speaking
be
of,
cool.
let's jump back to Cloud9, who's in a crossfire or with SSG cover fire, not ironically. And then what happened there is they were sending it looked like Frolicker out to scout that compound. He took from shots from SSG, but the beauty of the motorcycle turns around and gets right back to safety.
It's pretty greedy. you got to know that's taken at that point, but at least he didn't die for it. A couple more guys making their transitions in, though, on the edge, and the second circle probably isn't going to be too rough, but I'm really worried about what these guys will do when they got to leave their compounds.
MLGB is getting hit hard from those guys camped down inside of the conflict as a Rectify is just tearing them to shreds. But he is going to cover. I don't think he'll have enough life to survive, so that should be the end of MLGB's guy up there on the hill. That said, that does mean that SSG Fear can make his transition without any harassment because all the guns from Rectify were focused up the mountain right now. MLGB in a very tight spot. I assume they'll just leave him to die and rotate elsewhere, and it looks like exactly what they're going to do.
Yep. Ooh, meanwhile, it looks like Fear out of the frying pan into the fire. Almost getting down by Caden. This is an open field. The only defense he has is the speed. He will be getting down in that open field. His teammates are not coming from, not even close, actually.
Yeah.
As you see, Frex taking... Wait, did that kill just get stolen?
Frex did get the kill, so it does look like, yeah, Frex, Caden got the knock, which... Yeah, it was. So Cloud9 takes the kill. Caden got the knock with actually some really clean shooting. I don't know if you guys saw the crouch bounce that he was doing while he was shooting and was able to still get that last hit. So very nice to avoid the shots from Cloud9 at the same time. Cloud9, however, says, if you get a kill in our area, we're going to take it. This is our house right now. Speaking of our house, it's like Tempo Storm gathering up inside of a little yellow shack. It's a bit of a camping trip for them here. So they're going to jump into their little cottage that they've rented for the weekend. Airbnb at $20 a night, already taking fire.
Yeah, it looks like two of their guys showed up late after getting a little bit of looting in. There were two players holding it, but this is not exactly an area that you can hold safely. Right. You just kind of hide in the corners and say, no one's going to push us, right, guys? Which, honestly, the story for that is essentially yes. And looking around, it's the same story everywhere. People are just essentially camping these little buildings, the walls of this area, just doing all the work for them. Not too much needed peek unless you hear these cars driving by, Toffees.
Yeah, I like where Fadeaway's located. We just took a look at them just to the right of shooting range. They got a good spot on the transition from Severny. Venerated and Envy the rest of Envy is trying to get to their partners, or at least find a safe spot at Caden, taking tons of shots on their way there, but they are just barely getting through this stuff. Now, if you're driving, you definitely don't want to be taking the uncovered Jeep, so he probably feels pretty exposed right now. That said, they made it through the gauntlet. They will make it to Caden most likely. Can get down there as support. Though I don't love the complex that they're in. It's in an okay spot in terms of holding if they get the circle. That said, it's just really exposed when it's time to leave.
Oh, yeah, but honestly, that's the story with a lot of these places. The terrain around here, very, very open, but this definitely catches the worst side of that little trait right there. You can play outside, you can hold it very well, but it's pretty rough when you got to leave. That being said, I think that we have our second circle that has popped. I wonder what that is. Essentially more of the same. It looks like cutting out everything south of the river. It's a little bit of water and still Severnian as well, which it looks like a couple of teams might be teasing crashing inside that city.
In fact, Envious got there, picked up Caden, and then just bounced for Severny. So they're going to head straight over there. Okay. Venerated already checking the place out. They're going to try to make that town their own. Not a bad idea if they can get in there first. They've also, you see, Venerated's grabbed a really good spot here. Something that I think that I've seen, or I feel like has come out of the Miramar release. And yes, we're not seeing, the Premier Leagues playing there just yet as much. But the players have really started to adopt or taken a fancy to, I should say, terrain features more so than I feel like they used to. And that's something that's been really cool to see adapted and then brought to Erangel.
Yeah, it is really cool to see how that changes, especially because that little bit of terrain, that particular area was changed. Oh, nice error actually from Gunner. But yeah, that little bit of terrain in a lot of area near Stalber and Severny was actually changed recently to include more of those terrain features. So it is good to see players taking advantage of those locations. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Space Station Gaming a little bit late on the rotation. There's the guys on Team 3 looking like they're trying to punish this a little bit, but SSG driving beautifully, just going right around that ridge, just only showing themselves for a split second before dipping back under the mountains.
So they're going to make their transition nice and fast. Bold man who drives a Dacia at that speed on a slant nowadays. They're running parallel to Sharpshooter. They're running right into Pentalol. That's a funny name. as they go blazing by. They do open up on Gunner and Sharpshot. Sharpshot turns back around, goes to his friends. Cloud9 very happy with their position. That's the value of that sort of mid play that they like to do.
Oh no!
Gunner slid to a stop. I think he lost control, and he just had no other option but to meet death.
Very unfortunate. I was really liking their position, but it looks like only Shraded actually got into Severny. I don't know if he has any teammates left. Either way, though, with the gauntlet that he had to run through to get there, 3 or 4 teams all taking shots at him. I don't know any of his teammates, if there are any left, will want to be repeating that route anytime soon.
It was a hard push. Getting past Duel, which is Team 11 on the map for you guys right now, was a very tall order. They had great coverage from where they were. They set up, like you said, a gauntlet so that anybody trying to transition towards Sev was just not going to be allowed to do so. Severny, if you're in it now, great place. If you're not, pretty much become a no man's land for the most part.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, speaking of no man's land, we have one player going for a crate. Looks like they just left him. And then, wait, is he insurance? Is he early insurance? Okay, well, he's going to be swimming for quite a while. This strat going, just one player getting the crate, probably going to be sitting in the water for a very long time. He'll be blessed with the AUG and a level 3 vest. I'm not sure if he's ever going to
come back for him. So what they'll probably do is they'll drop one player into the water behind the rock, bring the boat out, pick him up, take him back to safety.
And they just got time to kill.
Yeah, make their slow play. They're in the circle. They know that there's no land, comfortable areas left. So they'll do this. They'll probably try to take those 2 boats and build a fort on the beach if they get a beach circle. It's not a bad play. It's not like the most glorified play in the world, but it is what it is. Now we jump over to a man who thinks highly of himself, Purdy. Or I assume he does with a name like that, as he pushes up into one of my area that I kind of like on the map here. A lot of natural cover. This house, not the greatest, but that whole terracing behind it, a really fun place to fight. So that's if you get the circle, it's holdable inside the house, and then once the circle closes behind you, that terracing creates a lot of natural barrier that you can use to really fight anybody who comes at you. So nice spot for them as they sort of wait for this last circle to close up here in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, although I'm not sure they're going to be really doing any fighting at all. There's really no one near them. I think the closest team would be Team 7 to their north that's up that hill above shooting range. It looks like that this stage of the game is mostly just settled itself down. Everyone has found their new home, but looks like those fellows over to the east, specifically EU, Team 12 and Team 10, as well as Team 15, will all have to move in. And this is a rotation that's going to kill some players because there's only about 1 or 2 open spots left right now that would be easy to crash with a couple of cars.
Yeah, Ignite in a very tough spot. They have a very long transition from that south side. Ether United also in a very tough spot with a long transition. Then we got Drassel leading the charge here in the buggy playing scout as Coco's going to go ahead and run the Dacia along the ridge line. Not a bad play, not a bad spot for them if they can lock it up. This is sort of like a supersized Alamo here, right? If you can control this area, get the circle to close up behind you, this burn plus wall is incredibly powerful, assuming the circle works in your favor.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get shot in the back of it. Oh, wow, a big rotation coming on the southeast side as multiple teams actually moving at the same time. Looking like Zampa, one of the many players that will be attempting to get some shots on these passing cars. But it looks like no one down from it quite yet. Zampa's trying to finish off Jimmer, but it looks like it just won't happen. A relatively bloodless transition so far, but where are they going?
Yeah, and where are they going? Because there's another team following them, right? Because Moody is right on the tail of Ether United. We've already got one person down. It looks like that's up ahead. Kickstart going to get hit. Moody trying to come in for the flank and save. Also, his partner pushing up as well. So we'll try to jump in and figure out who's got the best perspective. A nice grenade immediately starts that fight off. Wow, Jesus, look at this. Look at this going on here in the mountains.
Yeah, I mentioned that the south side probably wasn't going to see much action, but looks like these players have proved me wrong with Totality trying to chase down that UAZ. He is one shot, will not be able to land the killing blow on that retreating UAZ, though. And Totality here on this hill, looking like they're in a pretty good spot to punish any more transitions, but it looks like everyone's mostly got where they want to go or died trying.
Yeah, definitely. Totality having a really tough go of things. Looks like Solid actually was pushed so aggressively on their transition from Liquid that he had to go back out of the white circle to the edge of the blue to try and get himself back up to health point. So here we go, a little bit of the scatter. That's what you do when you know someone's coming for you and you're not going to survive. It's sort of the admittance that I'm not going to get out of this one in one piece.
Oh, really big fight happening here on the south side, though. It looks like Totality getting knocked by quite a few players, but meanwhile, his teammate just hiding below this ridge, managed to get a first aid kit off, but there are players approaching from multiple angles on this ridge.
Purdy coming around the flank, going to see Soko in just a second here, slides to the right, doesn't know he's there just yet. He didn't jump peek, he turns back, so he knows he's around. He's taking some fire. Everyone's now aware of him. He's worried about Team 15. And so Soko now gets the call from his boys that he's approaching. He's going to start to drop back a little bit. Goes for the jump peek. And is he going for the flank play?
I don't know. Totality's team is so far away. He's essentially solo here, which will allow Rectify to maybe get a flank on here.
So it looks like Soko wanted to go for the peak flank, wasn't able to get it, slides back to the rock to make sure he doesn't get caught by the rest of Totality. Totality, though, trying to make their push up. They're caught in a fight over there with the other partner. So now Taro going to try to make his advancement. He's got right between Soko, and it looks like Blue. I can't really read that, how it looks right now. But Soko's going to fall back to his partner. This is good. Go with the two-man defense. But Purdy, making a hard push, should see Soko right now. Decides instead to keep on pushing forward. Interesting. He's going to take fire instead. Oh, wow. He gets knocked.
No way that was an intentional play. He must have just not spotted them. And now Blue trying to get the rest on his teammate, but there is a two-man push coming right out. But, ooh, is he getting... Oh, what's going on here? As we see the revive just getting completely just stomped on. As it looks like auto fire from a different angle, just making that not happen at all. Yeah. I think 2v2 coming out here as Filthy, ooh, getting knocked out of the open as well. Very awkward pushes.
Yeah, just really clean play, though. For Totality pushing forward on two sides. Really putting them in a tough spot, and one by one just picking off all the guys from 50. And Rectify just not able to sort of bounce back from this. It was a really clean split push. I think they sent the first one out almost as bait because you saw that they were able to get the picks on the two guys on the rocks when they turned to shoot at him. So I don't know if that was on purpose or just worked out well, but it definitely was a very clean play. Now we got solid FPS back again out of the blue. He had to leave the white circle for a while, and now he's pushing back in. With him and his partner. So it looks like a two of them trying to take this firing range from the side with Team 14 just camped out in there.
Yeah, it looks like Team 14 making a bit of a split, covering multiple angles. A crate will be dropping dead center of all of this, though. I wonder who's going to go for this. There is quite a bit of chaos, but whoever will go for it will be rewarded with not only 8x, but also a 15x. Some very high-powered scopes for those teams that weren't quite able to grab them, but it is in the middle of the road.
Nothing you want like a 15x in the final three circles. That just screams of yay. So that said, though, Team Gates here holding against Cloud9. Cloud9 has to go through them, not around them. If they try to go around, they're going to get crushed by 7 and a few others. So that's going to be a tall order for them, but they have plenty of time to make that happen. So we're going to jump over. We might get a little more action here as it looks like we are seeing Wooly taking a couple of... So this is Pentalol and his boys as they are trying to deal with the man stuck inside of the house.
Yeah, it looks like 13 on 11, they're one down. But on the west side, Binlong, who has found the AUG, I believe this is the boating squad that has since made their way in. Only 2 players up and quite split. His teammate actually crossing through to his south right now. It looks like he's trying to wrap west to get under this hill for cover. He has spotted down, I believe, the last remaining player on Space Station Gaming to his north and is rotating toward that direction. We're trying to clear that out, but meanwhile, a lot of fights breaking out, a lot of small skirmishes breaking out on the southwest side, specifically here. Zentrix just trying to peek that squad to his south, but he just can't find an opening.
Absolutely. Gates playing very, very well as they stay together in a group, using this wall on both sides very effectively to manage their position as they go up against Cloud9. Solid, very well hit. And Zentrix keeps seeing the bike and aiming at it, thinking maybe he's behind it. But Solid just off to the left. The problem is now Solid and the boys from Cloud9 have somebody coming in behind them, I believe. So they're going to have to look uphill and possibly get caught in a fight. If they do, then the guys from Gates know exactly where they are and can clean it up without a problem.
Shrink is coming, so that's gonna be happening soon. The Dacia going for some high-octane drifting, going in. Not many shots hitting them at all, though. They're able to get in for a little bit, finding themselves in the low ground behind these ridges. I don't think they didn't lose a single player in that push.
They didn't, though they did let everybody in the world know exactly where they are. So immediately you see Solid and Frocker basically turned and face. Solid looking right at them now. Ether United now moving in, going for a little bit of a sneaky snack strat to try and get closer to that wall, as firing range has been chosen as sort of one of the blessed places. And look at that. So the guys from 17 decide it's not worth being here. Let's just bounce.
I can't believe they're just driving to the center of the circle. This should not work. But here, actually, as they say that, JLJ getting next to literally 1 HP, going over that hill, will survive the drop as well, and actually be able to link up with the rest of his team. I think that is, yeah, he'll be fine, but his team isn't doing too well. Slightmer is getting knocked with a couple of scar shots further to his west, but they're all together now.
Yeah, so Havoc is together, but they are under some serious fire. Speaking of, we still got our guys inside of the base. Shooting range holding down tight, waiting for the circle to establish itself. Totality is going to be what might be the saving grace for Cloud9, because Cloud9 can allow those two teams to go to battle, and then they can come out, and once Gates and Totality have sort of settled things or distracted each other, they can make their transition.
This new circle actually keeping in essentially every location to cover. Oh yeah, Bin Long finding that one player. They might be able to get to cover. Bin Long hitting those shots. And yeah, that's Valiant going down. The last shot from Bin Long's Mini 14 will be finishing them off.
Yeah, it was a rough push. They got caught out very hard by Microstar and the team. Let's see. So Microstar, I think that they're out of threat, aren't they? They now have control of the area, Havoc does. No, never mind. I think 13's still right on top of them.
Well, I see a couple of dead players from Squad 13. It looks like 2v4 coming out right now. Vexel going for those left and right leans. Will not be able to get to cover. Only one up now on that squad. I'm not quite sure where they are right now, actually. I think that he's just not here. I think that his teammate is in the shed in the center of the circle. So Severny now essentially completely in Squad 11's control.
Very nice, very nice. Now everybody getting clearly pushed out of the firing range. Here we go, down in the basement for the breach. Jesse Lull catches Tony V, and Envious comes out on top of that. Now United has to decide, is it worth going down there to try and dig them out?
They know they got 2 downs with that frag, and Caden getting revived right now. Jimmer and Vegas, though, they don't know if they're fighting against a 3-man or a 4-man. If they were going against a 3, if they knew that there were 3 left, then maybe go for it. But that man could be watching that little. I mean,
at this point, why don't all you do is pull the car into the hole, blow it up, and just bounce.
That has happened before.
I mean, like that's the play there. Don't risk yourself. Make them pay for their turtling ways, and just leave.
I want to see it now that you're bringing it up.
So I mean, that's the ultimate like salt in the wound. Yeah, there you go.
Are they doing it? Oh my god, they know.
So
they're trying to push out.
They're trying to push out. They immediately start to fire, but now they can try to blow the car up if they peek shoot. They're gonna have to jump in. They make it over. Caden goes down. Venerated comes out with the spray, but he ends up going down as well. Jesse Law, the last man standing. Smoke is everywhere. Fire and brimstone. Jesse trying to make the hard push. Goes one-on-one, and he goes down. Ultimately, that will be the end of NVS as Ether United forces them out with the Dacia push.
What a silly play. Only in PUBG.
Here comes the blue. Jimmer's got to run, baby.
Oh, one tickle to him in,
go,
but he
go,
can't outrun it. Nice, able to get in. But does anyone see him? I don't think that anyone's looking this way. Tuna Can's in the shed. He will not be looking to his south. I think he's okay.
So he will come up on Tuna Can, the last man standing for Ignite with his back turned, staring at the door. The problem is if you're running away at 1/8 health, you try to run into that thing. You know what I mean? Like that's where you're going to push to eventually. Oh, let's go back to this fight. Solid. Going for the flank sneak.
Can you see him?
Just inside the wall. He just wants to get inside. There's Coco. Coco.
He's so dead.
He doesn't see him.
Wait, no.
Coco's looking the other way. Solid just keeps on crawling. He's not going to reveal himself. Switches the gun.
Is he
doesn't
healing?
want to show. Coco, he is healing. Coco's not looking. He doesn't expect anybody to be in the blue. Why would you?
No, he died.
Died in the blue. Could have been beautiful, but all it ends up being is dead. And Coco has no idea how close he came to the Reaper.
I wonder if Squad 14 even knows that someone died behind them. Probably not. The really funny thing here as well is that there's 2 squads. I think there's one above ground, one underground, right? Like I think Totality holding the shelter, and Squad 14 just holding the shooting range still.
Yep. So Coco, I think, might have just seen the box, but like, did somebody die over here? I don't know where that's from, man. This is confusing. Maybe we killed one of Totality's guys. So now Totality's going to throw a nice nade up there. Gets a good bounce on it, but it couldn't quite clear. Yeah, it was very close. So that had hit. That would have been a huge advantage for Totality. Already, though, we see some guys start to take a lot of damage here. Looks like we're down 1 on this defensive attempt.
Meanwhile, another pushing him out on the north side. Looks like these guys from Severny trying to take the hill above on the north side of the zone. Microstar trying to do what he can. Will be trading some shots. His teammates doing some similar jobs. No downs coming up quite until JLD does get eliminated. A lot of trades going up with the defenders on Squad 7 not having an easy time of it as 3 players go down. And what?
Yeah, no, Havoc just got annihilated. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
They shut the door, and just Havoc cannot finish that. Meanwhile, we got everybody else trying to rotate towards that same hill. There's the spray. Purdy opened the door, and Admiral was waiting for him. Purdy almost got him down. Just enough time to heal, but Purdy's so low, he'll just tick off to death.
No, I love the image of him just like the door opens, you fire a burst, and just close the door after you get done. And that shed still in. He'll be able to hold that for a little bit longer. He has at least claimed 7th for his squad right now.
Admiral playing for Render Esports, also known for the camping equipment that they sell on the side to help fund their esports trips. But when you're down to one, what other options do you really have? And as we see, it's been relatively effective. Now, 14 going to be pushing hard as we try to figure out where do I go? Where do I go?
Nope.
Totality will come to an end. Yep.
No helmet, no teammates, no lives left. Actually, a lot of solo players, like 4 teams up, 9 alive. That is very bloody, very abnormal. I'm pretty sure the only full team left might be Squad 11 or maybe Squad 14, and then 2 solos.
Yeah.
So very, very small numbers of these solo players. He wouldn't actually spot out in this small shack. If he doesn't get the next zone, I have very, very high... I'm very worried about this player.
So this is Duel coming down the hill here as they sort of have to push in. That's Team 11 right now. They know someone's in the shack. I think they smell it. They probably heard the shots earlier from that kill. They got 13 behind them, so they have to worry about both shacks. Have one guy who could cause a problem, and the opposite side of the hill has the only other team that's a threat. So basically what we have is 2 singles, hoping that the Juggernauts slug it out, and they get to come in afterwards and clean up the dross.
Looks like Squad 11 over here on the north side. They have 12 kills to their name, and they're going to need to make some more of that happen if they want to be able to push into the new zone that does not favor them. That being said, Squad 14 on the south side currently claiming the middle. There's a lot of trees in the way. Squad 11 might have a decent time making their way in. So if you're Squad 11, do you push in right now or wait for those little solos that are in the sides to come out first?
I think you have to push. They're going to send one man down as a scout, so it looks like we're going to have them pushing into Gates. Gates living up to their name as they lock up the circle and try to keep everyone else out. So Znark is going to be our lead man from Duel here as he tries to find the guy in the shack. I think they're a little too obsessed with these shack guys, and they should worry a little bit more about that squad in front of them as they push this hill.
Well, at the very least, he does have a position inside the white, so they're playing this a little bit passive, not looking like they actually want to take that fight right yet. But look at that mini. Oh, yeah, nice shots. Now they know that they can take this fight whenever they want. That being said, Squad 14, they heard those shots as well. Exactly. They know there's a team right up on them.
So Gates knows exactly where they are. Wooly, who's got literally out in the grass right now, the shots go off, and he's got to be pretty ticked off about that because he has no cover as he slowly meanders his way towards the tree, laying down, trying to go for sort of that horizon shot, hoping that Gates will stick their head up looking for him.
Very, very cheeky. Meanwhile, Admiral over here on the west side, the Shrink coming in. He's waiting for as long as he can, waiting until he can see the blue enter his shack. And now he will be leaving. Blue tanking. Blue tanking is the strat of choice. Well, he's got 3rd place.
That'll happen. That'll happen. So let's see as we start to move in. Wooly's still in his position, laying low, waiting for the guy from Gates to come up and over. Vape going to be the peak man as he starts to move up towards the top of the hill, getting a little bit of information as to where the opponents are. 2 teams left, 7 alive.
Penta's taking some hits as well, so that despite the one-man advantage, they have not been able to make much use of it so far. Vape Squad 14 able to play the defensive position very, very well. They have no reason to move, and it looks like that they might just sort of play on the opposite sides of this small mound until either a down comes out or the circle forces their hand.
It looks like this is the hand forces. They're going to slide. Okay, 2 sides. Gates definitely making the right players. They go left and right of the hill. They're going to force 11 in, and there's the first shot. Vape goes down, and he is found out. Dak Coco's got a shot chance to go one-on-one. Coming up over the hill, it's going to be 2v1, actually. He loses the shootout, and the guys from 11 who were locked out initially end up coming out on top with a really clean split play off of that first knock. Remember, they only had... Our Gates team only had 3 guys left. So once they got that first knock, it effectively became a 2v4, which is a very tall order to win. But congratulations to Duel on taking 1st place in the first game of week 2.
That is 16 kills.
That's a lot of kills.
That was a lot. And they just shot their way into the zone. They cleared Severny. They cleared the hill, which they had to go on offense to do. They didn't just play defense. They had a clean 4-man push and took that. And then they just swept the. They just left a path of destruction and bodies in their wake. Hugely destructive game from our 1st place squad. Yep. That is a very good start to the day for them.
Team Gates, 2nd place, not with a bad game, less kills, but very good positioning, coming in 3rd place. 3rd place goes to Render Esports. There's something to be said for playing that low and slow as they do come away with the 2, but they managed to lock in 3rd place. And when you're playing a long tournament with 4 rounds, sometimes you just got to play for that position. Pecadores comes in at 4th place with a pretty good kill count. It was at 8 for them, so congratulations. And last but not least, E United coming in 5th with also a very competitive kill count at 8. So that's the number. Kills are definitely worth something here at auzom. We make sure that everybody feels rewarded for what they do. And that's why some of these teams are going to be competing for both position as well as trying to rack up those kills towards the end as well. All right, that is round 1 for all of us here on the team. My name is Toffees. I'm joined by Little Fuzzy Seal, and of course Skyline on the camera. Big shout out to him for keeping everything in our sight during the match. Also to auzom, thank you for having us, and all the players and viewers for being here to spend the evening. We've got 3 more games of North American action coming up shortly, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.